Hey, what's up? I'm Ellie, and welcome back to my channel. I have quite a good many books that I have acquired. You know how I've been getting rid of books? I've done 2 unhaul videos, basically back to back. But in the meantime, I also bought a lot of books. I've been really trying to curate a library that I really enjoy, full of titles either that I've previously enjoyed or genres that I've been enjoying more lately that maybe I don't own as much of, or books that I've seen other people talk about and I've bought for a future reading vlog of some sort. Without further ado, let's get into it. I do think I'm going to quickly tell you about the library books that I got first. Normally I save these for the end, but let's talk about them first. I got the second in the Lightfall series. This is a graphic novel series. As far as I know, there's only 2. A fantasy world where this girl, her grandfather goes missing. She has to go in search of him. She ends up finding other adventurers along the way, and it's just absolutely stunning. The artwork is stunning. But the other thing that is really lovely about this is that it really depicts anxiety. She has anxiety about a lot of things in the world, and it really does a good job depicting that in a actual manifesting way. And it's really lovely, and I love this series, and I'm so excited to get to the second one. Really on a graphic novel kick right now. I feel like I just kind of wasn't paying attention to what was coming out in the graphic novel world for a while, and now I'm back in it. So I picked up Garlic and the Witch, as well as Garlic and the Vampire. This is about Garlic who thinks she does everything wrong and how she wants to start her own garden, but she has a lot of anxiety around that, and just the friends that she befriends along the way. So I think I'm just all about the wholesome graphic novels. Also, Adventure Zone. This is the second one in the series. This one is Murder on the Rockport Limited. This is a D&D campaign that has been turned into a graphic novel. I really enjoyed the first one. We follow our 3 adventurers as they are on their D&D quests. So I don't want to give too much away. I know that there's podcasts about this. There's YouTube videos. This is a whole big franchise, basically. Now, I can't show you the cover of this one, but I picked up Creepy Cat, and I think this is more of a manga. It's like a gothic comedy about this girl and her ghost cat, basically. I do believe that this is the second one in the series. I am on the hunt for the first one still, so I'm very excited. I think they're just short little snippet stories about ghost cats. We have Neverlanders, and this is a Peter Pan retelling, but in a graphic novel format, where we have a group of misfits who basically end up going to Neverland, and it just seems really fun. It looks like it's almost like a superhero twist on Peter Pan, and I think that sounds just really great. I also picked up Sorrowland because I think this has a lot of mushroom horror in it, and I've been super into Sporer. So I kind of want to do maybe a reading vlog at some point that's all about mushrooms. I just really like mushrooms, okay? I don't care if they're a trend. It doesn't matter. I love them. I love them so much. A woman who is pregnant and she wants to escape this compound that she lives in, so she decides to go live in the woods. But her body starts experiencing all these weird things, and she has to kind of go back into civilization in order to find out what's going on, but she also learns about what was actually happening in the compound as well. We have Delicious Monsters, and this is, I believe, a dual point of view, and it switches between time periods, and we follow Daisy, and she can see dead people, and she's invited to go to this mansion in order to kind of get a reprieve from seeing dead people and just her life in general. Her mother is not great. She has a lot of secrets, so she decides to go to this mansion. 10 years later, we're following Brittany, whose mother is a best-selling author claiming that she stayed at Miracle Mansion and it basically fixed her. So Brittany is kind of fed up with it. She decides to go back to the mansion and try to uncover what really happened there, and ends up trying to decide if Daisy's story needs to be told or if there's many others that also need to be told. Then on to the 10 million things that I basically bought with it over the past few months. There is a self-published romantasy series that I really love. I ended up reading Between Wrath and Mercy last year, and it was a 5-star read. I loved it. I've been going back through and tabbing it basically. I just really wanted a copy to own, and this is a fantasy world where we follow an adult woman who has a child. And then it is believed that her child is like the beloved type thing. She's kind of been prophesized for this, but she has seen what happened to her sister when her sister was prophesized as that she was killed. And she doesn't want that, so she's kind of kept her daughter away all these years. And then her daughter is kidnapped. And like, what better reason to start a war, really? So she goes to the king. Well, she goes to the Prince of Blood. And they have history, and it's not always good. So there's banter. There's the friend group in this. They're just like so lovely. They just are on each other's nerves all the time, and that's my favorite kind of friend group, honestly. I love this story so very much. So I bought that one, but then I also bought the sequel, Between Despair and Hope, and I'm hoping to read this and tab this as well. So, and I think this actually follows a few more characters. We get introduced to a few more. I'm very excited about that because I just really enjoy the characters in the series. I think this is indie published, Darklit Press book, who I've been obsessed with, like, following all the new releases that they have. It looks like they have a great lineup of titles. This is where we talk things out. This was recommended to me on Scribd, and I was like, I am intrigued. I'm intrigued, and it's short. Everyone knows I love short horror. A traumatic mother-daughter relationship. They're not really close, but after her father has died, she decides to return home, only to find that her mother has recreated her whole childhood, going so far as to even buy clothes that she had as a child that will now fit her, and kind of wants to, like, recreate her childhood. And it just sounds so creepy, and I'm always interested in like weird mother-daughter dynamics as well. Reprieve. This was one that I had a coworker who talked about how good this was. So normally I like to listen to things before I buy them, but I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this one and see, because if she thought it was good, I feel like I will too. This is about like a contest in a haunted house, and it's basically like if you can make it through the haunted house, you know, you'll win some sort of prize, but the code word is reprieve, and that means that like you don't want to be in it anymore. And the problem is that like they're making it through it, but then someone is actually murdered in the house, and this is them recounting what had happened within the house and like who done did it, which are my favorite tops. Another one that I feel like has gotten a lot of hype is The Last House on Needless Street, and this has a cat, and that's like all I needed to know. We get the point of view of a cat. That's it. That's it. This is about a young girl, a man who drinks, and a house cat who are all like bound together. Secrets. And a new neighbor moves in, and all the secrets are gonna come loose. I don't know. It sounds so like bland. But the amount of people who have talked about this, I'm like, I'm intrigued by this. It sounds just so, it's like, it doesn't want to give you anything, which I get. I love going into things not knowing a single thing. So hopefully it lives up to the hype. And we have Daphne, and this is about a serial killer named Daphne. Believe it is basically that there is a story that she comes in, like, hunts down teammates and kills teammates. But it's like an urban legend, but then it actually starts happening, and we follow a character who like is realizing that this is happening and is going to try to figure out how to stop it, or if it's real, just investigate what's going on. So I love this cover. I love this. I love anything that, like, I don't know, feels kind of retro horror looking. Does this have anything fun? No. It would have been cool if like this had blood dripping. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, okay. So one book that I love. This is an unpopular opinion on the fact that I love this apparently. Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. And I love this book. I loved it so freaking much. It's one of my favorites. I love it. It's like a silly little horror movie. Like, you know everything is going to play out, and it's fantastic. It's like a group of friends who go, yeah, they're looking for a wedding venue or something, and they go there, and the house has secrets, and there's basically like this malevolent thing within the house, and of course, like, they're all being like hunted by it, and it plays out how you think it will play out, and I love it. I feel like it's such an ode to like campy, scary movie lovers. and I loved it so much. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and I get that, but because I loved it so much, I decided to buy Hammers on Bone, which is another short horror. So this is about a guy who gets like hired as basically a hitman, and he's hired by a 10-year-old to kill his abusive stepfather. In this world, though, like, gods and monsters also exist, and he realizes that the stepdad has been infected by a monster. The problem is, if he kills the stepdad, he will release this creature within the stepdad, so he has to weigh, like, what is the most important thing here? Then we have a book that I know, like, nothing about, but it seemed like a horror classic. So I felt like I had to get it. It also just like really intrigued me, the cover of it, and that's The Wasp Factory. And this is, I'm not really sure what the overall premise of this, other than that we follow the main character has killed people. And the whole reasoning behind killing them wasn't like it was just a phase in life. You know, just a solo killing spree. So I'm not really sure what else to expect out of this, and I kind of want to go into it not really knowing, but given that it seems like it's a horror classic, I feel like I should add it to the list. I would love to know any more horror classics that aren't Stephen King, so that I can read more of them. I feel like I'm starting at like what's new and happening right now, but I would love to learn more about like the roots and what serves as inspiration for other stories, because that's always really fun. I have The Ballad of Black Tom, again another short novella, and this is about Tom, who is just trying everything he can do to survive. And he has been targeted because of the color of his skin, and he's just trying to make it through life. And he ends up delivering a book of magic to a sorceress and opens up something awful. Opens up a world of something awful that might just swallow the whole world. And I think it sounds fantastic. I love when there's like creepy world portals. Then I got Whisper Down the Lane because this is going to be the Literally Dead book club book pick, I think. Next month, this month, one of the months, it's coming. One of the months it's coming. And also the cover. I mean, come on. So this is about a character who, as a young boy, like something terrible happened and his mother's like, you have to lie to the teachers. There's been kind of like rituals, things of rituals have happened, and he has to lie basically, and he ends up changing his name as he's older. And as an adult, he goes by Richard. And everything seems fine and dandy, like he's put the past behind him, but then the rituals start happening again, and a murdered rabbit is found on the playground, and someone ends up telling them that they know what Sean did and that they're one and the same. And so it is kind of about, I'm assuming it has to do with like demonic rituals, obviously, but like what happened, how, like what all went down in all this. And I also think this deals with a lot of the satanic panic that happened in the 80s. This is the last like official horror book that I got. It's the Pallbearers Club. I got this for a video that I plan on doing in the future, and it's one that's been on my list. It sounds interesting. This is about two friends who like they started this Pallbearers Club where they would go and like take pictures of corpses in like high school, right? It's weird. It's fucking weird. And now they're adults, and one of them is like writing a book about these experiences, and the other one I think wants to interfere about what is happening. And so the two of them are kind of like working out what was real and what wasn't, and the author is now having like blurred memories of what was real and what may not have been, or like where there's supernatural elements involved. So hopefully you'll see this in an upcoming vlog with a few other books. And I was actually sent a book by Sourcefire, and this is Tell Me What Really Happened, and this is about a group of friends that go camping, and then one of them goes missing. All the friends come back, but they all have different stories, and we have to figure out which one is true. This is a YA mystery. Sourcefire does a really great job with YA mysteries, and I have a ton of YA mysteries from them. I've also considered doing a vlog kind of about all of them, because I have quite a stack at this point, so if that's something that would be interesting, let me know. I ended up getting Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed, and these are just stories about a grumpy, I believe, old lady who maybe kills people. Maybe, I actually don't really know, but these books are just so stinking cute. So One of the book's options for the 24-hour sprints this month was Ordinary Monsters, so I just wanted to have a copy in case that ended up being a selection, because there for a while it seemed like this one was going to win, but then Babel ended up winning by a landslide. But I just wanted to make sure that I had a copy. This is massive. It's huge. It's also one that I feel like I'll enjoy. So this takes place in Victorian era, and there's magic, and we follow three people who have different abilities, and they end up being escorted to safety for some reason. I believe they're all children as well, and they're kind of being escorted, and then they're going to go, it's like a tale of betrayal. They're going to go to a world where it's just all kinds of magic and all the devious things that could happen with it. Okay, and then my weird like cottage core thing that's happening. It's not so much cottage core, it's like I just really like nature and mushrooms, like I said. So I ended up picking up some things that just kind of fit the theme of that to some degree. The Time of Green Magic. Really looking for some more like cozy middle grade to read, and this is about a family that moves into this ivy-covered house, but the house is actually kind of magical. So they notice more and more things happening around them, like they're tumbling into the stories that they're reading. Their imaginary friends are maybe not so imaginary anymore, and just a lot of like really fantastic things. So it just seems really cozy. Also, the Force of Such Beauty. Look at this cover. Look at this cover. I'm sorry, this was a full cover buy. I saw this and I was like, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that. So this is about a woman who I believe is, she's been like locked away. She's married the prince, and then she's been locked away, and it's about her trying to escape basically all of this. That's all I can really get, I feel like, from the synopsis, but it sounds like maybe there might be magic involved, but it also sounds like it's very like modern world, so I'm not too sure what exactly, but it definitely sounds like, you know, just an empowering read of like getting out of what seems like a fairy tale ending and what the truth of it is really like. The Exhibition of Persephone. Now this is about a woman, she's pregnant, and she hasn't really told anyone, but it's mostly because she can no longer really recognize like even her husband. She's just having like a very weird like out of body, out of mind experiences. And then one day she's walking past like this art exhibit and sees her, like she is the art exhibit. Like how much of our image is owned by other people in a way, and like what liberties can they take with like taking our images and things like that, and just like losing your sense of identity over time. And it just sounds like a really thought-provoking read. Probably not something I'm going to get to anytime soon, but like I also thought this was a beautiful cover. I mostly got it because it's in Persephone, so I kind of thought it was going to be a little more nature based, but you know, whatever. 2 mushroom books. I seeked high and low for these. I was hoping that they would go on sale, and I ended up just buying them because I think they sound really interesting. So we have Entangled Life. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Just all about mushrooms, fungi, the world, our minds, our futures. That's it. Nonfiction about, this is definitely something that I'll probably like just read here and there. But like, I'm just really interested in fungus and fungi and like all the things. In a similar vein, The Way Through the Woods, and this is a story about loss, but it also involves mushrooms and nature and like connecting with nature in a state of mourning. And so I know as someone who tends to love nature as kind of like a healing source, that this seems very interesting. Also picked up The Marriage Portrait. I've just been seeing a lot of good things about this, and it was free. So I was like, I'm gonna snatch that right up. I honestly don't know much about this except for that I think it's like Renaissance time period about a woman who feels kind of duped, I think, once she gets married to like what seems to be a very like sophisticated aristocratic man, and then he kind of has a whole different side to him once they're married. Shocking. What a surprise. So I'm intrigued, but I haven't seen a lot of good things. Theme music. I'm not really going to talk about these because I don't really know. I do think that this is a mystery. Her father butchered like her family, but had to play like a very specific song while it was happening. That's all I know. And we have the Book of Killoween, and this is about an archaeologist who comes across an old corpse in a bog. But not only that, there's also a new corpse in the bog, and of course they've been murdered centuries apart, but they are somehow connected. Then a short story collection. This is 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. This has been on my list for quite some time. I actually just listened to LNO speak yesterday, and it was really great and lovely, and I've read some of her other work and I would love to read more. So this is a collection of short stories, and it's all like mythology and fantasy based around, I believe, East and South Asian stories. Yeah, East and South Asian cultures and stories. Fairy Loot books or special edition books that I've gotten over the past few months. So I have quite a lot of them. I'm not really going to talk about these in depth. I'm just going to show them to you because they're gorgeous and that's all we really need to see. But City of Nightmares, and this is just stunning, beautiful, amazing. Oh my god, fantastic. What would you look at that? Would you look at that? Also, The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi? Amina al-Sirafi? I think. I might be saying that wrong. I haven't really looked at anything about this. I'm saving this, I think, because I might bring back Scallywagathon. But this is gorgeous. It's a pirate fantasy, and I'm so... Look at this. Gorgeous. Amazing. Fantastic. But it's got just all the gold detailing. The map even has gold foiling. Oh my god. Absolutely stunning book here. The Foxglove King, which I've seen so much about, but yet, like, I've seen a lot of people talking about it, but yet I feel like I know nothing. I think this is a romantasy book as well. Menestra, I might be also pronouncing that wrong, but I had to get this Waterstones edition. I love mythology retellings, and when I saw this one, and it's got it's got gold cover, but then it also has the sprayed edges. 7 Faceless Saints, which has beautiful depictions on the side as well. And I'm assuming that this one is also probably romantasy. And then Silver in the Bone. This is honestly, this one seems a bit underwhelming, but it looks pretty cute based on anything else, but it's not my favorite edition that they have done. But now I can finally empty my cart. These have been just accumulating for months and months and months now, and I'm excited to finally put them away where they belong, and I don't have to worry about them anymore just falling over or something. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these, which ones I should prioritize. If you have any mushroom specific recommendations, we'll love those as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!